Hi again, and welcome to Characteristics of Kingdom Members, the Antitheses. Tonight we're looking at Unit 6, Retaliation, or as the Jews used to call it, an eye for an eye. You have heard it said, verse 38 of chapter 5 says, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you not to resist an evil person. Whoever slaps you on your right cheek, turn the other to him also. And anyone who wants to sue you and take away your tunic, let him have your cloak also. And whoever compels you to go 1 mile, go with him 2. Give to him who asks you, and from him who wants to borrow from you, do not turn away. Discussions of personal rights and privileges and territory are very prominent in today's society. Many oppressed groups are standing up and speaking up for what has been tantamount to oppression, and many rightly so. Sinful lifestyles as well have been defended as worthy of acceptance, which is not right. People sue others over frivolous claims of injury or pain, which is sometimes vindictive and very often punitive. Well, in the society of Christ's time, the law made provision for someone to exact their pound of flesh if they felt they had been mistreated or wronged in some way. If someone stole from another, they were to make full restitution. In some cultures, thieves lost a hand the first time they were caught stealing, and in Jewish culture, an ox was required of one who had killed someone else's ox. If a woman was struck while pregnant and the unborn child died, the perpetrator would be killed, according to Exodus chapter 21. Murderers were killed, rapists were killed, adulterers were killed, rebellious children were killed. This was a bloodthirsty, oppressive society in many ways. However, the punishment for wrong would be met with vengeance. This is the reaction that was called for by the Jewish laws, and one that the Pharisees and religious leaders enforced with passion and vigor. Then along comes Jesus with one of the most striking antitheses of this study. Instead of an eye for an eye, let them slap you again after they slap you once. Give them your inner coat when they sue for your outer coat. Carry their load 2 miles when they ask for 1. How utterly counterintuitive this must have sounded to the people. Yet Jesus sought to have a people that would not insist on their own satisfaction, but instead would have a generous, selfless attitude that would bless others even if they did not deserve it, even if they deserved vengeance. Jesus turned the law on its ear and said, instead of asking for an eye or a tooth for a tooth, give them more than they asked for. Give them more than they deserve. But Pastor, the idea of giving your oppressor more than he or she asked for is ludicrous. The idea of blessing those who curse you is just ridiculous. But this is the very commandment that Jesus gave to those who serve him. Give more than you're asked. Take more abuse than you're initially given. While no one should be enslaved or abused, Jesus does seem to call his disciples to the highest road of sacrificial service. Even if you are oppressed, give more than is required in order to glorify God. Be hopeful in the midst of your trouble so that God can sustain and deliver you. Do more than is required. This does not sound like the way most people think today, but Jesus tells us that we should do this. Why? I believe because in it we can have hope. In it we can glorify God. Instead of railing against the machine, bless the machine and trust God to deliver you from the machine in due time. As we discuss this today, you might share examples where you've seen injustice or oppression. Maybe you've had a really tough boss who did not treat you fairly, but when you bless them anyway, God can work through that type of selfless and blessed, not retaliation, but reaction. React in a way that would glorify God, and God will be glorified. Let's study this together.